What do you feel like you learned most about your club this weekend?
Ooh, we have notebooks worth of stuff right there. It was the opening week. There's the day one joy and jitters, but also this, the second day you wake up and you're wondering, you got to put yourself in the position of the players, what they're feeling if, after a loss, or if we didn't perform offensively, do we start to press at that point? So you see all the same things that you've seen every year, and you try to manage those as quickly as possible to make sure guys don't, drift. The goal every day is to wake up, be about the team, and what can I do to get better, right? And then obviously we see, even on a micro level, like all the things that we need to do to get better on the bases, being more present. We have a ton of speed. Every time we put the ball in play, especially on the ground, good things happen. Hayes puts one in play, beats out a double play, they throw one away because of the speed. There tends to be pressure on the defense. They start to try to hurry the throws. One bad throw leads to another bad throw, right? So constantly trying to focus on the things that make us better as a group, and that is putting the ball in play, having tough at-bats. I absolutely love how they responded to games 2, 3, and 4. Tight ball games. I know it's probably adding to a lot of gray hair for some folks out there, coaching staff included. However, those are the most rewarding, and playing really good competition early exposes a lot of our needs for growth. And so today, that's what we're excited about, is to practice, and we already have a ton of things lined up today. Just teaching moments and making sure that this team is really good about when you tell them what you want and need, they're really good about going out and accomplishing those things early. At one point before the game, we had mentioned something about base running, like bigger turns. I want to see the middle infield after a base hit try to back pick us at first. And I saw multiple times we get out there and people are yelling 1-1-1, trying to come back pick us. And so rounding it's going to force the outfielders to pursue the baseball quicker. They're going to, press throws a little bit more. One may kick away, and we may get an extra 90 just from something like that. But I think there's a lot of opportunities that we can transform the game from an offensive standpoint. Continuing something we work on a ton: drag, push, sack. We did see one sack bunt. Unfortunately, it was with 2 outs. We had a chuckle about that, I guess, after the game. In the moment, less chuckle. But it's just, you're going to see a handful of things that frustrate you early on, and the goal is to minimize those as the season goes on.
How did Nyan go from on your radar, but looking like you said, to Illinois, Chicago, you were saying, then you guys give him a call to go from obviously an experienced guy at his level to starting all weekend, going from bottom of the order to third in the lineup by the end of the opening weekend?
Yeah, the order isn't a huge thing for me, a sense of it should change who you are as a player. And I did tell him before I moved him to the 3-hole, I called him in my office and I said, hey, I'm thinking about hitting you here today. And he kind of gave me a little flex. And I go, no, we're not. That doesn't mean now we're a slugging monster. I want who you are as a contact speed guy in that order, because with Singer, Talt, Hayes, there's a lot of speed, a lot of disruption, a lot of ability to move the ball. And having Hubbard the way that he controls his zone too, I wanted more offensive chaos early on and pressure, and it also means more at bats potentially in that last inning. Really just, and we saw it too, how he ran down a ball in the gap up against the wall. His ability to go get the ball is huge. And so speed's one thing that we really wanted to have on this club this year, and defense, especially knowing the arms that we have. So prioritizing pitching and defense has been a big part of this club, and now knowing, and we've done that years past from a Beaver baseball perspective, is finding ways to manufacture runs. Very uncharacteristic to have a Stanford ball club that had 3 errors, and sometimes that happens, but also I think it attributes to guys putting pressure when we're on the base pass, drawing picks, making the infield, try to force throws, going into second base hard. are all things that can lead to run production. So if you can get the pitcher and the defense distracted a little bit, they might leave a little more over the zone, and then our guys can have more opportunity to drive the baseball. But Nyan is definitely someone with that speed tool, who he is as a person. Just being on the phone with him, talking with his former coaches as well, was a huge plus because of how much respect and love they have for that kid. You can see he's going to be successful on and off the baseball field.
How special was it for you guys to end the weekend the way that you did?
To put those 3 days back after losing game 1, I think that's something that Beaver baseball has always done right. It's you get punched in the mouth and you learn how to respond to it. So I'm very grateful for that progression of the weekend. It allows for older guys to have those moments of teaching. It allows for young guys to learn a ton. And so we really fed off one another. We fed off the energy of the younger guys. We fed off the leadership of the older guys. But for Bryce to, end the game with a walk-off, for guys to chip away for Robles to come back in his second appearance of the weekend and throw multiple innings, to watch Scott go out and compete and with the enthusiasm he had was, great for all the guys to see. Finally, when you're facing someone else rather than your own team, it opens up a whole nother level that you need guys to see from one another. And I thought, it led to a happier plane ride home, sure, but at the same time, your mind just starts going into, okay, we need to get better. And I don't know, it's already studying our opponents and preparing for this next weekend. I'd say just equally, if not more time, has been studying ourselves and how we can get better. Yeah.
You talked about leading on experience early, particularly, and you certainly did.
Yeah.
Proctor's a guy who a bit less in that way. So what did he show you to earn that spot in the first place, and through the first weekend, what he was able to do for you, positive way that way?
Great to get him, get in the game throughout the weekend, and then get the walk-off right, putting one through the right side. He's obviously a very physical guy, passionate, plays the game incredibly hard, works incredibly hard. Young guy still, so needs to learn how to move around the bases a little bit better. And even some of our older guys, same thing. We had for sure base hits where we're freezing or going back to the bag, not getting the jumps that we need. And so in its entirety, I think base running across the country has been something that the younger generation needs to spend more time doing and learning. A lot of times it's let's go work in the cage, let's work in the cage. Why don't we just go hit on the field and throw some base runners out there and start seeing the ball off the bat a little bit more. But he lays down a bunt with 2 outs, right? Just kind of got a little mixed up on the watch unit we use. It still had a number in from before, but obviously in that situation, you're like, probably not the best time to lay down a sac bunt. Beauty of that, though, is we know he can do it now. A guy who's never bunted in his life, and he laid down just a beauty of a sac bunt. But to come up later in the game and get the job done for the walk-off, incredible. And so I think the guys feed off some of that. It's great to get guys in. Saw a couple different guys get opportunities to come in and get ABs. And regardless of hit or not, that's not what I'm valuing. I'm looking for experience. I'm looking to, get that initial piece out of the way. Because especially after like a pinch hit, usually that next day you don't make it more than it should be. So love seeing that. Love seeing a lot of guys getting touches out of the bullpen. And just after the final walk-off, I went out there to go celebrate with the guys because it was pretty exciting. But then I looked down in the bullpen, I'm watching those guys rush down as well, and there's some big guys down there. So I just kind of stepped off to the side and let them do their thing and preferred just the handshakes at that time. But still a long ways to go.
Last couple.
Monday was a big spot for someone like Morris. Obviously, a lot of faith in him. Did he even exceed maybe what you expected of him the way he came out there?
Yeah, he pitches so stinking quick. You just realize that we're in the 4th inning. What just happened? And I think he impressed a ton of people. We've seen it throughout the fall since he's been here. his mentality, man, he's very competitive, but he's also has a bit of Kleinschmidt in him where he's just like a quiet assassin. He goes about his work. Now he's coming off the field pretty fiery each inning, but he's got good ride. I think his mentality adds even more to his stuff as well. So I don't know if any of us were surprised, but you know, after the game we gave out the lineup card. Gave it to Hubbard for hitting the homer, and Hubbard turned right back around and gave it to him. So awesome to see an older guy turn around and recognize, you know, a young guy who that was a key part of the game, is getting that fourth game off to a great start. And Boogie, as we call him, did a great job setting the tone early.
All right, last one, guys.
You guys have gone to surprise a bunch. I think this weekend might have been the biggest crowds, probably 6,000, mostly of Orange. Is there anything you're looking around and you're like, we should add more seats up here? We got the numbers for it.
Yeah, to watch the crowd continue to grow, and great weather, great competition, you know, throughout the entirety of the weekend. That was exciting for each and every person. Not just on the field or in the dugout, but in the stands as well. To see that kind of support, and I know there's a lot going on before the games, a lot going on after the games, but to hear and see a lot of people with smiles on their face, I think that is extremely important. And as I tell our guys, they're superheroes. Like, you're changing people's lives. You go out now, you can, by competing your butts off, you're making people go throughout the entirety of the week extremely happy. Right? How they interact with their coworkers, and I'm sure a lot of people are talking about Beaver baseball throughout the entirety of the week when they're sitting around the office. Obviously, you all are, right? That's the job. But that's a huge piece of the excitement, and why we do what we do and why we work so hard is to change people's lives, not only theirs and their families, the players, but also all those who really love and care about Oregon State athletics and Beaver baseball. You know, we've been doing this tournament down there forever, and I say it, as soon as the anthem's over and everyone turns around and sees the crowd, it's something I wish I took one mound visit or two, and on one of them I was trying to remind myself on the way out there, I had something to say, but I was like, turn around and like take a peek, because I've never really done that. I'm so focused on the game I don't recognize a whole bunch of what else is going on, and I totally forgot. When I was walking back, I was already prepping for the next pitch and making sure we were going to execute a possible bunt defense. But you know, it's something that I want people to know how appreciative we all are of their support. And as we go about the season, you know, regardless of where we're at, we know people are paying attention to each and everything that we're doing, and that excites us. There's no pressure to it. It's a joy that comes with it. It just chooses how you perceive it, I guess. Yeah.
All right.